everyone, this is Amy. Welcome to my channel. If you've been watching me, you probably already know about my positive New Year's resolutions project. And this is the 5th month of adding a positive achievement each month to those that you've already accomplished in the previous months. If you're new, I did a whole video about it in January, and there's a link in the description down below. The goal is to have 12 new habits and a healthier lifestyle by the end of the year, one step at a time. And don't worry, it's not too late to get started. You can join in right now. This month, it's all about adding organic fruits and vegetables to your diet. You've probably noticed when anyone discusses healthy eating, fruits and vegetables are generally put together. The 2020 to 2025 Dietary Guidelines for Americans stresses the positive outcomes of adding these plant-based foods to your diet. Recommendations are to eat 1 to 2 cups of fruits per day and 2 to 4 cups of vegetables each day. According to the Produce for Better Health Foundation, eating a wide variety of fruits and vegetables supports both short-term needs such as immune function and adequate nutrition, as well as long-term needs like reducing the risk of chronic diseases. And overall, 9 out of 10 adults do not eat enough fruits and vegetables. Do you eat as many as you think you do? Leave me a comment down below and let me know. When we look at just the vegetable category, the average American adult consumes 1.6 cups of vegetables each day. It's interesting to note that even with all the emphasis on the need for vegetables, this intake level hasn't changed in 15 years. In fact, there's been a decline in vegetable consumption by older adults. According to the Produce for Better Health Foundation, the current consumption of fruit is less than a cup of fruit per person per day. Studies do show that this trend is increasing for adults, but trends for children are heading downward, which means kids just aren't getting enough fruit in their diet. It's also interesting to note that most fruits are actually eaten at home due to the high natural sugar content of many fruits. Individuals with prediabetes and diabetes should always watch their portion size and the quantity of fruit that they eat at any one time. According to My Plate, any fruit or 100% fruit juice does count as part of the fruit group. But here's the thing about 100% fruit juice. There's often other things in there. Even though you think it says 100% fruit juice, check the ingredients on the label. Also, juices generally do not contain the same amount of fiber that you would get when you're eating a whole fruit. So I always recommend that you stick to whole fruits and vegetables. They can be fresh, frozen, dried, or canned. But fresh or frozen and organic is always the best choice because it has the fewest additives and preservatives like added sugar and sodium. Here's why I highly recommend you go with organic. Organic produce has 4-fold lower levels of pesticide residue than conventional produce. Lowering pesticide exposure through choosing to eat organic produce can be considered a health benefit, especially for pregnant women, infants, and children of particular developmental stages, because they can be profoundly affected by pesticide exposure. Now, the primary difference between conventional and organic produce is the traditional reliance on synthetic pesticides. Although some pesticides are approved for use in organic farming. Organic farming relies more heavily on crop rotation, biological control, like employing enemies of the pests that they're trying to control. Of the pesticides that are employed in organic farming, most have lower toxicity than their synthetic counterparts because they're actually part of the human diet. Like sulfur, potassium, many synthetic pesticides have been linked to cancer, as well as hormone disruption and neurological disorders. In both adults and children, controlled trials have demonstrated that switching from conventional to organic reduces biomarkers of pesticide exposure in as few as 5 to 7 days. That's pretty quick. Over a year, pesticide exposure significantly correlates with fresh fruit and vegetable consumption. Supporting eating conventional produce is a significant source of pesticide exposure. Of course, some researchers have challenged this notion that pesticide exposure is a concern due to the overall levels reaching well below the established safety limits. However, current toxicology practices to determine safe exposure to chemicals include some assumptions. And of course, there's always a dose threshold below which no adverse effects occur. Now, pesticide use varies by crop. Several consumer advocacy organizations, like the Environmental Working Group, or EWG, and the Pesticide Action Network, provide assessments of pesticide residues on conventional and organic produce. You might have heard of the Dirty Dozen or the Clean 15. The EWG put those lists together to help consumers decide which conventional produce is the safest and should always be purchased as organic. These lists can help you work within a budget to get the greatest return on your food investment. But it's important to remember that these lists only prioritize when budget is a concern. In my opinion, it's always better to purchase organic produce whenever it's possible. And that's because, in addition to pesticides, organic crops have 17% more total antioxidant activity and 18 to 69% greater concentrations of polyphenols than conventional crops. Plant polyphenols are believed to be one reason that eating a plant-based diet is associated with numerous health benefits and positive effects on the brain, risk rates of cancer, inflammation, and the cardiovascular system. Switching from conventional to organic foods would increase polyphenol intake by the equivalent of 1 to 2 servings of fruits and vegetables without actually changing food or energy intake. Another thing to consider are GMOs. Genetically modified organisms, or GMOs, are defined by the World Health Organization as organisms in which the genetic material, or DNA, has been altered in a way that does not occur naturally. Since GMOs came into our world in the 1990s, there's been considerable debate about the perceived benefits and the risks that could result from their widespread adoption. This debate revolves primarily over the transparency and GMO labeling requirements. In Europe, GMOs are required to be labeled as GMOs. However, the United States and Canada do not have such a requirement. Yet 53 to 83% of Americans believe that the federal government should require mandatory GMO labeling. Here's the good news. In the U.S., certified organic food is not allowed to contain any GMOs. So by purchasing organic produce, you can be assured that you're not consuming GMOs. But why are GMOs even an issue? Well, direct effects are best demonstrated by how genetic modification expresses itself, not always in the ways that can be anticipated. Examples can be seen in the expression of allergenic proteins and changes in metabolite concentrations, including toxic ones, that result from poorly understood regulatory pathways in plants that respond to genetic modification. For example, soybeans have been shown to provoke Brazil nut allergies after a protein from Brazil nuts was genetically modified into the soybean to release its nutritional value. Indirect effects come from the way GMOs are used in agricultural practices. Currently, most genetically modified crops aim to provide the plant with some kind of inborn resistance to either pests or pesticides or both. One example is Bt crops. Genes from the Bt bacterium are inserted into the plant DNA so they can produce their own pesticides. So these crops require less pesticide application. On the other hand, crops like Roundup Ready soybeans are genetically modified to resist the pesticide glyphosate, so that spraying can be done more frequently without the risk of hurting the soybean crop. Other Roundup Ready crops include corn, canola, alfalfa, cotton, sorghum, And wheat is also under development. Much more work is needed to determine the short and long-term effects of widespread GMO acceptance. Many of the risks related to the use of GMOs are speculative, but they are scientifically plausible. Whether GMOs are healthy is not a black and white issue. There's no simple yes or no answer to the GMO question. Organic varieties of produce are likely to be a better option due to lower levels and safer pesticides, higher concentrations of secondary metabolites, and that they're non-GMO. How can you add more organic fruits and vegetables? Just be a little sneaky. Here are my tips. Fill up half your plate with fruits and vegetables. Try veggies for breakfast. We usually think about vegetables at dinner or maybe at lunch in the form of a salad, but consider adding them to your breakfast too. Start small, maybe just 1 or 2 mornings a week. Try a vegetable omelet or add leftover vegetables to your scrambled eggs. And what about eating a whole orange or grapefruit instead of its juice? You'll get more fiber and you'll limit added sugar and other additives like preservatives. Add organic fruits and vegetables to your lunch bag too. Try vegetable sticks with hummus or a yogurt dip. And when you're making a sandwich, try adding dark leafy greens. Add extra fruits and vegetables to foods that are already your favorites. Adding additional tomatoes or something like mushrooms to your pasta sauce can really make a big difference. You can add organic pumpkin puree or mixed vegetables to your chili. You can even add an extra stalk of celery or carrots when making tuna, chicken salad, or whole grain salads too. Make it a family contest. Have everyone in your family keep a journal of what they eat for fruits and vegetables during the week. Whoever eats the most fruits and vegetables wins. Prizes can be monetary or chore-oriented, like whoever wins doesn't have to do dishes for a week. Take a trip to a farmer's market or a farm stand. If there's nothing near you, try a subscription produce service like Misfits Market, Worthy Flavors, Imperfect Foods, or Farm Box Direct. I have lots of unboxing videos from all those companies. There's a link in the description down below. Encourage each member of the family to pick their favorite fruit and vegetable. If you have space, you can plant a vegetable garden. And even if you don't have space, you can use pots. Like I live in an apartment, so I have a small little patio and we put potted plants out there. We have some vegetables and herbs on our patio. And if you really don't have any time to prep vegetables, you can always buy them pre-prepped. Explore the fresh cut vegetable section of your favorite supermarket. Many items that take more time to prepare, such as winter squash or spiralized zucchini, are usually there ready to go. I know that in my Wegmans and sometimes Trader Joe's, those things are just done for you. And it's a lifesaver when you're pressed for time. Look to change your habits. Instead of buying the same old frozen vegetables, look for something different and try something new. Seek out new ways to prepare the vegetables you eat often and that your family likes. If you need some ideas, I have a free ebook with some plant-based recipes. And don't worry, it's completely free. Just go to amyricka.com/freebies. You can get your copy right there. And there's lots of other stuff on that page too. You don't have to just pick one. You can get as many of those as you like as my gift to you. And set a goal for yourself, but be realistic. If you're not already a big fruit and vegetable eater, work on just adding 2 to 3 more per week. If that works, add 1 more each day. This is the month to add more fruits and vegetables. I hope you found this video helpful. Please hit that like button and share it with somebody else that this could help, and on your social media too. And remember, I post at least 3 videos a week, sometimes more. So if you like this kind of content, please remember to subscribe and tap that bell so that you never miss a video. This is Amy. I will see you real soon. Thank you for watching. Bye.